All right, let's do it live on a Reaction Monday. Cleveland Browns Daily, Merely Bo, the great Z. It is cold, but not as cold as you were yesterday, my friend. So I'm listening in the fourth quarter, and of course we'll get to the game. HOF, Joe Thomas, half hour of the program coming up in the second hour. You'll hear from Coach as well, and we'll talk about it. But I'm driving from youth basketball in the fourth quarter. I'm listening to you and Andrew on the call, and because I've been where you're at, and I've had to do things in that temperature before, and I could tell that your mouths were frozen. Like it had become very difficult to
speak and enunciate clearly.
I had such an amount of empathy from the circumstances, all of them that you were in, but just how cold it was. And then when Gibby sent me the picture in our group chat of what you were dealing with from a radio studio perspective, or not studio, but like bunker that you were in. It's like there was no way to get out of it.
I think we would have liked to have been in the studio here calling it off of the TV.
For sure you would have. For sure you would have.
Yeah.
That had to be as cold.
So
pretty close. I mean, Saints here is probably still colder.
Yeah, but not in our booth.
Not in the booth. Not in the booth.
No,
yeah.
Our booth. And we had some of the window open that day. If I have it right, Gibby, didn't we leave like a little crack in the middle?
We had 2 of the 3 windows in, and we
Yep.
just had little, like to get the antennas out, the wireless,
Yeah.
and the crowd mic.
Yeah, and our heaters work well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was still cold when you get a gust. It would hit you, but it wasn't. Like, I had to wear gloves and hand warmers the entire game. I had my feet in fur-lined boots.
Yep.
Big wool socks and toe warmers on the top and bottom of my feet. By the end of the game, I couldn't feel my feet. Siciliano could barely walk out of the booth. Max Starks, who played offensive line for the Steelers, was in the booth directly next to us and came over at halftime, was like, is your guys' like floor heater working? And we're like, no. He's like, this is the most, he said, I never should have agreed to this. He goes, this is the most miserable conditions I've ever called a game in. And then I did the pregame TV before.
Yeah.
Our first hit, I thought I was going to freeze and die. Hanford keeps laughing. He's like, why do you keep moving around so much? I said, because if I don't, I might freeze.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to stay
Easier for you to
warm.
say
Yeah,
top dog.
Yeah, top dog. So he was having a big kick out of that. And so after the first segment, I'm like, listen, I've got to move because the wind was whipping.
Yeah.
And so the way that it's still kind of open on one end, and then the rest they built that spaceship. So it kind of comes in and then rides the stadium, and then it comes right down the visiting sideline, which is right where I was.
Oh, I see.
And just whipping and bone chilling. And I had 1, 2, 3, 4. I had 5 layers on top.
Yeah.
I had multiple layers, long johns on the bottom. I had, like I said, the feet, fur-lined boots, like for these conditions.
Yeah.
Big wool socks, the warmers.
You were prepared.
Nothing. What I really needed to be out in the open there was face covering.
Mm-hmm.
But how could I do that on TV? Couldn't. So then I ended up doing the rest of them standing in front of the heater. So they had the 2 giant jets.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to stand within like 5 feet of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just, they say, don't.
Yep.
I was practically standing inside of them, and I still could barely feel the heat.
Is that cold?
It was unbelievable.
Jeez.
It was unbelievable. At the end of when I got home last night, and we kind of had thawed out, obviously, on the plane and on the bus, and we had ample time. Unfortunately, it took forever to get home. Well, I took a hot shower, and like I could feel in the tips of my toes. Like Siciliano has been in the elements. He's hiked big mountains and all of that, and he said that was as cold as he's been. And he's like, I'm legitimately worried maybe we have frostbite. Like, I don't think we have frostbite, but it's not great. But yeah, it was so cold. And it's funny, you really get a sense of people's breath, not the smell of it per se, but just what actually would be there when you're thinking about back times of COVID and they're like, you have to keep this distance. Like,
yeah.
Because you could see every bit of everybody's breath.
Sure.
It was a wild scene in there.
Yeah, just miserable. And then what played out on that field was miserable.
The whole
Cleveland
experience
Browns.
was
just bad across the board.
It was bad. Now, Gibbe did on his. So there was one vent in the thing that was basically right over Gibbe's head. Mm-hmm. And so Gibbe and Mac were like sweating up there. They're not even wearing they didn't even need to wear beanies. They didn't need gloves.
They're Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber. I could have just given you these extra gloves.
Yeah, exactly. They could have.
But I still was wearing. I had a hat on. Like I
Mac
was sweating,
didn't?
but no, I still had a winter coat on.
Yeah.
I had no feeling in my toes.
Right, but the warm was hitting.
Mac Robinson's like, hey, I got a bag of toe warmers. I'm pretty sure They sold you a faulty bag. Did you buy those on a street corner?
Yeah, they did not work.
Did you
If
buy
they
those
did,
in Chicago?
no.
Didn't take.
At no point did I
They were
feel
not
heat in my toes.
No, me neither. It was funny because, at halftime, I went and kind of stood in their area because the wind was just whipping in through.
So the wind was just coming
Yeah,
straight
so
in.
any
Through our
heat that was
garage
coming down
door.
behind us was going behind us. Like it wasn't it never got to us. And I mean, it really was like this is the year 2025. Like I'm not being like this. We're supposed to be indoors in a boot. Like they're absurd conditions.
Yeah, right.
The dome will be so welcomed. And Max Stark's like, I can't wait for them to build a dome here in Chicago. Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
he's
it's
like,
enough.
I never want to come to a game here again.
Yeah.
He was having a hard
Even
time
the
walking.
Bears employees are counting down the days. They're like, we just need to get it figured out. Where's it going to go? And put the shovels in the ground. Let's go.
Isn't it something how they because it wasn't that long ago that they put that spaceship on that thing? Is it 20 years ago?
I was living in Illinois. I had to cover the Bears when they played in Champaign for
So
2
what
years.
year would have that been?
2002, 2003.
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah. So I was there in like
Maybe
99, I guess, like 99, 2000. I was there, and it was still old Soldier Field at that time without the spaceship. But like that thing's not that old. They threw a ton of money into that thing,
Yeah.
and to not land the plane on it, in this instance, the spaceship, is crazy. This is what I want to ask you both. Well, this is what I want to ask you. It's a lot of bad. Football-wise, it's a ton of bad yesterday. And with 3 games left to go, how do we go about defining success week in and week out? What are we looking for here, other than obviously Miles? I mean, that speaks for itself. Go get that sack title, and that's something to be celebrated and applauded and championed and all of that. And there's some things here and there, but like, how do we define a successful Sunday now with where we're at?
It's hard. Unfortunately, it's very hard because our offense is in just such shambles right now, and specifically the offensive line is in such shambles right now that it's hard to understand what you're going to, how you're going to do it. I mean, the reality is these final 3 games are all about Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
That's it. But right now we have an offensive line that can't protect the quarterback. We have an offensive line that can't. I mean, poor Quinshon Judkins gets hit in the backfield. It feels like every play. Mm-hmm. He has He has the highest percentage of his total rushing yards coming after contact than any running back in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And it's getting worse. Like, it's starting to get worse. I mean, this game was his longest run. We had 14 designed runs, and the longest run of the day was 4 yards. That's impossible. Mm-hmm. It's almost impossible.
Yep.
To me, that's all it is. That's all it is. And it's finding out if any of these guys on this offensive line can have a place here next year.
It's even hard with Shedeur, much as it was hard with Dylan, because of everything else. Like, it's difficult to know. It's just offensively, it's a real mess, and there's not much you can hang your hat on. Early in the season, we can hang our hat on Quinshon, and there would be some explosive plays there. And Shedeur hit Isaiah on a couple of deep ones, and that allows you a little bit of spark and fun. But in terms of sustainable things you can count on offensively, outside of Harold Fannin right now, there just really isn't.
No, it is. It's tough, but that's, listen, to be a true franchise quarterback, you have to be an elevator of everything around you. Now, these might be impossible circumstances by which to do that. I acknowledge that, and I am a big Shedeur fan, and I want to see it happen because I think we have so many needs that the idea that we can get these 2 first-round picks and use them at, get a stud receiver and get a tackle, I think is great. Now, if there's a quarterback that they absolutely love, you take them. I mean, that's just the way that this business works, and that's the way that it should work. But that's all that this is about. Can he have some more good performances? And the crazy thing is, it was tough sledding out there, and he still made unbelievable throws while getting hit to Isaiah Bond. That kid, I think, is a real player. I thought that from day one. He can absolutely run in this league. Shedeur's stat line looks a lot better if that ball is a touchdown and not an interception. He still threw 2 picks.
Yeah.
But that ball, it's a perfectly thrown ball to Jerry Jeudy. It hits him literally in the number 3 on his chest and ends up an interception. I mean, Siciliano, when we were calling it, called it a touchdown at first because we saw the ball get to Jerry Jeudy, and then I think it's an I think it got intercepted. We're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then you watch the replay, and it goes literally off of his chest.
He just took it right out.
Yeah, it reminded me of my sophomore junior year in the flag football championships at Emory against Pike. And we had a guy named Matt Parker who I nicknamed the drum after that because every pass I threw was bouncing off of his chest like he was a drum. It was reminiscent of that. Shout out Parker.
That's intramural football. This is the NFL.
That's right.
So we have.
It's a different standard.
It is. Yeah. No, I mean it's tough. This is going to be tough. It was tough yesterday. It's going to be tough sledding. The quality of the teams that we are playing up and up. Now you should get a reprieve in the finale down in Cincinnati, but you got Buffalo coming in here this week, and they just went to New England and won, and they're trying to play for seeding and get hot and maybe be the favorite in the AFC, which is kind of what they feel like right now after what they did yesterday. And then you got Pittsburgh after that coming in here, and they're trying to win the North.
Yep.
And so, like, the next 2 weeks, you're going to get teams that come out with the type of energy that Chicago came out with yesterday. You're going to have to match that, or you're going to get more of what happened Sunday in Chicago.
Yeah, you have teams that are fighting for their playoff lives, so it's not a surprise to me that you got that. They were calling it a must-win there.
Yeah.
They took that game very seriously. Now they kind of let us hang around a little bit, like it should have been worse than 14-0 at the half, but they put the Browns away. They did what they needed to do, and that's a pretty good team. And their offensive scheme seemed very good. And Caleb Williams made some unbelievable throws. The touchdown. The second touchdown to DJ Moore in the back of the end zone was an unbelievable throw. I still don't know how the ball got there. I've watched the alternate angle. I mean, Delpit's there. Tyson Campbell's there. If the ball's not way up where it is, when he threw it, I thought we were picking it off.
Yeah.
And it ends up being a touchdown. Just incredible. They've got the good running backs. DeAndre Swift looks great. Mm-hmm. He looked fantastic. Loveland's a real dude. They're starting to use Loveland and Burden. I mean, you think they didn't even have Roma Dunze.
No, that's true. Yeah.
They're cooking with gas. And guess what? Roma Dunze was a first-round pick. When they made their big trade, they made sure they got DJ Moore. Colson Loveland was a first-round pick. And then Luther Burden was an early second.
Early two. Yep. No, it's weapons. Yeah, you got to have
the thing.
Man.
Their D is opportunistic, and they take the football away. We talked about that.
You can do it the other way.
But you have to be able to score, and they can score. They've been the number one offense in the NFL since week 5.
You can do it the other way when you put it all on the offense and have an opportunistic defense that lets you move in between the 20s but comes up with a couple of dynamic plays here and there.
Yep.
The other way,
no, you can't.
In 2025, you cannot win in the NFL trying to win 17-14.
Part of the reason, too, that you are able to get access to those plays on defense where you can make turnovers is because teams feel pressure to score.
Yeah.
And so they've got to take a few more gambles because they know they got to keep up with you. I was very impressed by that Bears team. It was an impressive performance. And I'll tell you what, kind of wild, like at the end, you're hoping for can the Browns, just get down there, get a good vibe, touchdown. They're all out blitzing. They're going cover zeros on like third down.
Call.
I couldn't believe it.
We finished our last game right as it was, and then I watched it last night when I got home, but we were leaving Brecksville right as you were on the call, and you're like, and you guys had some fun anecdotes about like fantasy and overs and unders and all of those things, and let's try to have something positive to go to the next week and all of that. And you're incredulous, like they rushed 8. They went 8. All out.
Yeah,
8. Like, you're not having it.
No, they did
we
not
are
going to
let you score. I don't think we are going to let you score. In fact, I think we're going to sack you on 4th down.
Too bad for me. Good for Gibbe. There was a lot of drama in the booth on that final drive.
Well, and also with 7 in the over-unders competition every week, you almost probably forget what you even guessed or which ones apply.
I forgot the field goal one, but I was pumped about that.
That you nailed that one, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot positive here. The number one positive for this entire season has been Miles. He gets another sack and a half. He's going to have 2 games to track down that record in front of the home fans, and his excellent play has just continued. Carson Schlesinger continues to be great. What did he have yesterday, 14? He's got like 120-some tackles on the year.
Yeah, he was 119 going in, so 133 counting special team tackles.
That's just a massive
He's been
contribution.
You could tell he's a little
week.
bit banged up, and it doesn't matter. He plays so hard and well.
Yeah, total stud there. We were down a bunch of guys in this game. Joel Bitonio keeps showing up and doing his job because he's a true professional and all of those things. But we're grasping at straws here, obviously, when it's 31-3.
At one point in this game, our right guard became, I think it's Graham Dellinger. I'm gonna have to look this up.
That's right.
Yeah,
you had that.
Graham Dellinger. That was the first time he's ever played in the NFL.
Yeah.
Those snaps.
Was then.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
No. And, this is one, it's like, you're like, come on, Zinter, you're a third-round pick. You were supposed to be an heir apparent, and unfortunately we're not able to even get to see him in these situations. It's really wild. It's really wild.
Yeah. So it's difficult. It's difficult to know what to look for, to be positive. You hope from a fan perspective that you get moments here in the next couple, but what you saw out of Chicago Sunday, you're going to see the next 2 weeks in terms of opposition. And so it's going to be ultra tough sledding from here on out. You've got the Miles thing that you can hang on to, and hopefully he can make a little bit of history one of the next 2 weeks. Either way, if he gets it either of the next 2 weeks, it's going to be pretty special.
Yep.
Whether that sack is of Josh Allen on Sunday or whether that sack is against Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers in 2 weeks, either way, that when he breaks that, it's going to be awesome. If not then it's Burrow, but I'm guessing he'll get it in one of the next 2 weeks just the way that he's playing right now. But it's difficult to – I think it's very difficult to – the one thing that we have to know coming out of this is, do we have to address quarterback? We've said that since July. Like, do we have to know if you've got somebody long-term here at that position? And it's very difficult to your point, Shedeur made a couple of great throws, I'm sure he'd like to have back.
Sure.
But it's hard to even judge what he is or isn't because of our inability to do much.
Yeah. This was not his best game, but again, he can make big plays. And so that on that level, that's good. But it's hard to evaluate him. Again, it's kind of the same. He was out there against Tennessee, and he played well. This one, I think what you saw in this game was a little bit more disguise by the Bears, and that's something that he's going to have to adjust to. And the fact of the matter is there are two other things at play here. Like, he handled their blitz great. They blitzed him 9 times, goes 5 of 7 for 118 yards. Quarterback rating of 113. That was when he was great. Everything else, not as great in this one. But, and man, that Bond, I like Isaiah Bond. I think he needs, I'd like to see him out there. I don't know why, unless he's tired. This is me talking.
Maybe just run and goes.
I want him on the field a lot because they played 39 snaps out of 57. I'd like him to play 55 out of 57 because I think he's the one person now that if your defenses are coming to play us, they're going to talk about him. Be like, when 16's out there, watch out. He can run.
You have to account for him.
And the other problem is we're terrible on first down. Our running game is atrocious. So the best, if we ran a design run on first down, the best case scenario was we got to 2nd and 6. Mm-hmm. More often than not, we were at 2nd and 11. Mm-hmm. We have too many penalties. Mm-hmm. 12 in the huddle on off. When do you have 12 men on offense? That doesn't happen very often. No. I was joking a little bit on the opening drive. We had 2 penalties. Now the good news was we were on the 1, so they could only cost you a half a yard. But what is going on? At one point, we had as many penalties. I think we had 4 penalties on offense, and we'd run 6 plays.
Yeah,
we just put ourselves in some bad situations, and then defenses are going to get tape on Shedeur. They're going to try to make it harder for him to get the looks that he likes, and we have to counterpunch that. But part of it is when you can't run and you are consistently in 3rd and long, nobody's going to have success in the NFL. And that's not making excuses. That's the fact. He's got to be better. We've got to be better. And we've got to be able to run the ball. Mm-hmm. We cannot run the ball.
No, they could. They could run the ball. Chicago could run the ball.
Of course, they're the number 2 running offense in the league, but we're going against a defense that coming in the game had been giving up 5.1 yards a carry and was one of the worst run defenses in the league. Yeah, same with Tennessee.
For sure. And so that's kind of morphed into who we are. Yep. And then conversely, who we were early, and a lot of our guys are down. There's all of it, and the defense on the field constantly. I get it. But we're not quite the same as we were a month ago defensively either.
No.
And Malik Collins is a big part of that, I'm sure, obviously. No Denzel Ward doesn't help, and among others. But, it's just the season's gotten very long.
Yep. Very long. And there's not really a good end in sight to it is the unfortunate part about it. We've got Miles, which was exciting. You've got, hopefully, Shedeur, playing better going forward and doing some of the things that we saw him do in that game against Tennessee, and even he made some really good throws in this game. I would feel a lot better, obviously, if Jerry Jeudy catches that, it's a touchdown. You'd say, okay, all right, Like, wasn't our best performance, clearly. Wasn't his best performance, clearly. That's okay. But that would have at least been a little something that you could build on, something that you would be happy with. And unfortunately, not. It's a tough watch, too. I say it all the time. The Tennessee game was a heck of a lot more. We lost, same as this, counts exactly the same.
Yep.
But the Tennessee game was fun because we scored a lot. You go back to the Denver game, Monday Night Football, Jameis. We lost, but we scored a lot. It was a lot more fun to watch.
Yeah.
This is just that was a tough game, tough environment, and it was one of those, I think, when the environment's that bad that
You mean like temperature-wise, tough environment?
I think it's also when you, after a while, you're just like, I think your will gets hurt a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, anything in that temp isn't fun, let alone being beaten. How was the crowd?
Full, good.
Full and locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were good to go.
Yeah.
There were we met a ton of Browns fans at our hotel.
Yeah.
Saturday night,
Really?
I had gone to dinner with Mac and Clay and Gerard, and we came back and we're talking to Ashby in the lobby, and some guy walks in. He's like, "Gibby, and the G-Man." He thought Clay was the G-Man.
Oh, that's great.
His name was Joe, and I think his father-in-law was Mike. He's like, "I live in Southern Indiana."
Yeah.
He's like, "We booked this game like when we saw it on the schedule. Thought the weather might be a little bit better."
Yeah.
But he's like, "We're here. We're going." There were a ton of Browns fans.
There are everywhere, man.
But it's
It
just
it's just
and
so
it sucks
discouraging.
that's what they
That's
got
where
to
we're
see
at.
yesterday.
Yeah. Did you have a good meal Saturday night?
Yeah, went out with Beatbox and
Oh,
and
yeah, your
Kenny and the
boys.
Baby Dolls. Yeah, we had a nice thing. Went to Joe's. It was very good. Although it was very odd that on a Saturday night in Chicago, like at a very nice place, the table immediately next to us, which was not a great location for them or for us for that matter, was an 8-top of the oldest kids ranging from 6 to 12.
Excuse
Okay,
me.
hold on a second. All right, so this is like a white tablecloth joint?
Yes, this
Okay,
is
so
not
it's
a cheap
so
establishment.
it's a white tablecloth joint in Chicago.
Yes.
You're seated,
Yes.
and the table next to you is an 8-top.
of nothing but children.
No adults anywhere?
No, then there was. I think there were 3 tables that were together, and the other 2 tables we were surrounded by tables that had parents and younger kids, and then there was one that was just all kids.
And who were the parents of the kids?
I have no idea.
They were, so their play was adults are going to, kind of like a family Christmas? Like the adults table here and the little kid table is
did they
here?
like go like ice skating in the
there
afternoon?
were
and did
kids at
something
even
in
the tables
city?
with the adults. I just think there were a lot of kids, and the one right directly behind us was an 8-top of nothing but children.
Ages were what?
6 to 12, maybe.
Yeah, it's
outrageous.
That's
They don't-
certifiable.
I'll
That's
go get you a
insane.
burger.
It's not even okay.
No, you can't do that. That's crazy. Like if you had one 10-year-old and everybody else was like 15 to 17, fine. They're high school kids and
No,
the
these
parents
were
over there,
little
but like
kids.
little kids at a table is nuts.
And also in a restaurant like
Who are
that.
the parents?
I don't know.
Hit up a Portillo's, man. Like, come on.
Yeah. I
What
don't
are we
know.
doing?
I don't know.
That's no win for anybody.
No win.
Jeez. All right, lots to get to on the program. A crazy day in the National Football League on Sunday, including the end of an era, at least this era, down in Kansas City. And as I mentioned, the Joe Thomas half hour of the program as well. Speaking of ends of an era, an odd one in WWE, and I don't even follow it, but I know you'll probably have some thoughts on that as well. So we'll get to that coming up a little bit later on. Coming up next, Coach from the podium. Those are your hot topics today. We're presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. We'll head to the podium and Coach Stefanski coming up next. We're off and running on a Reaction Monday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Add more fun to your fan with the Bally Bet Sportsbook app. Download today, get 50 back in bonus bets. You place your first wager of 10 or more. Bally Bet is official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time to head to the podium. We're presented by Vivid Seats. Vivid Seats, purchase your official fan experience package today for the ultimate game day. Here's your head coach, Kevin Stefanski.
Okay, injury.
You're down.
Update, Tevin Jenkins is day-to-day with that shoulder injury, so we'll see how he responds in the next 48 hours or so as we get ready for the week. Obviously, that ball game is disappointing to start that way. You're down 14-0 the first quarter, and then trying to dig out of that hole, and that's hard to do on the road versus a good football team. So we came up short. We got to own that and watch the tape and look at it and learn from it, and find a way to correct some of those things that happen early in the game, so you can be in that game and give yourself a chance to win that game. So that's our focus, but I'll take any questions you guys got.
Hey, Kevin, after watching the film, what were your impressions of Shedeur? How he played?
Yeah, obviously some good throws down the field, made some explosive plays. There's definitely plays that he wants back that he can be better, whether it's a decision or a ball or those type of things. But I thought he fought till the end and has the right attitude that he'll just keep learning from all of these experiences.
And those two interceptions, not the one to Jerry, the other two, what did you see on those? Was the first one a good play by the defense, or should he see the guy dropping there?
Yeah, it's always, I think you learn from all those, Scott, and at times you tip your cap to the defense and you say they made a play, and other times you talk to the quarterback, hey, could be footwork, could be who you're keying, could be decision, all those things. So I do think you have to give them credit and say that they're making plays, but I think how we coach our guys is, hey, next time we did it, here's some things that we would do differently. But obviously that's going against a good defense that takes the ball away. You got to give them credit as well.
Yeah, Kevin, after a sort of a blowout loss like that, and with where you guys stand with everything right now, have you been given any assurances by management that that your job is safe or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't get into those type of things, Mary Kay. I would just tell you, my focus, our football team's focus is solely on the Buffalo Bills, and obviously watching the tape today, that's our focus, but that's all we really care about.
So you haven't asked for anything like that, for any kind of a vote of confidence that you'll be able to continue on after this or anything?
Yeah, I'm not going to get in those type of things, Mary Kay. Not my focus.
Kevin, I wanted to ask for a clarification on what happened with Shedeur's wristband yesterday. After you went up at the podium, he said that a card fell out, but the sideline reporter for Fox said that their cards were being swapped out. Could you kind of just provide some clarity on? It seems like two different answers from you guys.
Yeah. What happened was obviously had the wristband. It was good on the first drive. At some point after the first drive, one of the cards must have fallen out of Shedeur's wristband. So when he went to that panel to look for it, it wasn't in there. Obviously grabbed it. We have Bailey on the sideline, have Dylan on the sideline where he can swap out and grab their wristband. So you always have to be prepared for those type of things. You have to be prepared for if the headset goes out, you have to have those automatics that you have to get to if the headset goes out. And similarly, while that's very rare, you have to be ready if something like that were to occur.
And that's the reason why he had to kind of get the call from you from that one play. Like, I guess the headset had gone out at that point, right?
That's right, exactly. So I was giving him the wristband number, but like I said, the coach to quarterback wasn't out, so you can still communicate that way until 15 seconds.
Kevin, with all the injuries you have on your offensive line, I don't know if any of those guys will be back, but how do you prepare a game plan knowing that your line is not what you hoped it would be?
I don't look at it necessarily that way, Jeff. We the guys who are available come Sunday, we go to battle with them, and we work really hard during the week to make sure we have contingency plans and guys are ready to go. Backups stay ready, and that's what we do.
Well, then how does that affect your run blocking yesterday in particular?
Yeah, I would just tell you, anybody who's in there, we trust them to get their jobs done. And we as coaches are always thinking about ways that we can put our guys in positions to have success.
Kevin, kind of off of that, similar with the offensive line in particular, the injuries that you have, how does that maybe change the way that you are able to evaluate different positions outside of just the offensive line? I know that these are things that come with the game, but when you're trying to evaluate the production level of a running back or a quarterback, like how do you navigate that with maybe a line that's not full of starters that you typically would have?
Yeah, I think again for us, Cam, is the guys that are in there, we trust them. We're focused on the game that's in front of us. We're worried about getting production in the next ball game, not so worried about evaluation, quote unquote. We're just trying to make sure that we give our guys a chance in every one of these ball games.
And then when you're looking for that production for that next week, when you have games where Jerry Jeudy doesn't come down with that ball, obviously want him to hold himself accountable. You want to hold him accountable. What does that look like in terms of making sure it doesn't spiral into something and trying to, but while still maybe holding players accountable for things that happen on the football field?
Yeah, I think our players understand this game. It's a 60-minute game, and there's plays in every game that you're going to want back from a coaching perspective, from a playing perspective. All we ask and what our guys give is everything they got. Not to say that we're going to be perfect, but we'll just keep fighting when there's time on the clock.
I also wanted to ask about the pressure rate in Shador's 4 starts. I think it's at 43%, which is, top 2 in the NFL. Obviously, like the offensive line has gone through a lot of changes, injuries and whatnot. But when you're looking at it, like how much is falling on the offensive line? How much is it guys not, separating early enough? How much is it Shador holding onto the ball? Like, what are you seeing that's resulting in the highest pressure rate in the NFL in his 4 starts?
Yeah, again, I think it goes back to each one of these games presents different challenges. Each defense is different in how they're playing the game, how they deploy fronts, how they deploy coverages, if you will. So we're focused on trying to give our guys a game plan that we can go execute, play fast, and go find a way to score points. And there's going to be varying factors to each one of those games, whether it's the opponent, whether it's guys that are available or unavailable. And we just got to do our jobs and give our guys a game plan to go let them play fast.
So there hasn't been like a commonality or a common link that you've seen in Shador's 4 starts that can, that you kind of focus on in terms of, limiting the pressure rates.
Yeah, obviously our focus for our passing game is to keep the quarterback clean and obviously get the ball out on time. There's various ways and various play types to get into, Daniel, to try to mitigate pass rush, but it's so dependent on the team you're playing and the challenges that they present.
Yeah, Kevin, just wondering with Bill Musgrave talking to us about how Deshaun kind of stepped up last week and he took on some scout team and some other things like that. As you guys move closer through that 21-day window, are you getting ready to, or, put him on the 53-man roster anytime soon?
Yeah, I would say not my focus, Mary Kay, for right now. I'm very, very pleased with the progress that Deshaun's making on the field. In the classroom, he's doing a really good job.
Hey, Kevin, do you expect any of the guys that didn't play Sunday due to injuries to be able to go this week?
I'm hopeful on some of these guys, Scott, but not entirely sure yet. I think we got to get through the next couple of days, see how everybody's responding to some of the rehab that we're doing, and I'll have a better answer for you on Wednesday.
Okay. And then with the run game, it hasn't been consistent throughout the year, right? There's been good weeks and bad weeks. One of the bad ones was yesterday. Have you been able to identify just why it hasn't had the consistency I'm sure you're looking for?
Yeah, I wish it was one thing and you could fix one thing, but we just, in order to have success via the air or the ground, you have to be really sound in everything you're doing. And it's on us as coaches to give these guys a plan that they can go execute. And then obviously, you want to give your guys, put them in advantageous positions. Sometimes you're going to go up against good defenses and that type of thing, but that is definitely a focus for us, is finding a way to be efficient and explosive on the ground.
Kevin, what are the challenges for you as a head coach to keep your players playing hard in a season when you guys are now 3-11?
Yeah, obviously we know what our record is. We understand that. We don't hide from that. You own it. But we also know how important this game is to us and the work that has to go into it each week and what we pour into it each week. the payoff is going out there on Sunday and playing and coaching. So we get where we are. Not going to hide from that, but that's not, part of what we do is going to compete, and that'll never change.
All right, hey Kevin. Like when you look at these 4 starts with Shador, it seems like teams have been kind of reluctant to blitz him, and maybe that's because of what he showed in that Raiders game, beating the cover 0 blitz and stuff like that. But they're playing a ton of zone coverages. So what has maybe given him and the offense struggle when facing those zone coverages, and what do you have to be better at in terms of executing in the pass game against those zone coverages? And maybe why are teams playing like almost 50% zone coverage against him instead of blitzing and playing man?
I can't speak to the why. I would just tell you, in the pass game, whether it's man, whether it's zone, whether it's 1 high, 2 high, blitz, no blitz, sim blitz, all the above. Obviously, we have to be on the same page in all areas, whether it's protection, whether it's routes run, decision making, you name it. So we're working very hard, certainly to get everybody in those areas. And when you're going up against zone defense, and again, various types of zone, but when you're going up against zone defense, you have to be great in those zones and at your route depth, at where you're supposed to be. And quarterbacks making great decisions versus those zones. So it's multifaceted to have success versus zone in the pass game.
Yeah, Kevin, just wondering, you talked a little bit about this after the game yesterday, but you kind of alluded to the fact that a rookie quarterback is going to have maybe a game like this, or is going to have some setbacks, and it's not always just going to be an upward trajectory when you're developing these young guys. So just wanted you to address that notion a little bit, and was a game like this maybe expected, or did you anticipate it, and why is the sky not falling after something like that?
Yeah, sky's not falling. I think with young players, Mary Kay, there's growing and there's learning that happens. And, look at history for, I don't care what the position is, but look at history in terms of young players. And sometimes there's moments that aren't going to go your way, and you learn from those. So that's no different for any position, no different for Shador versus any other player. There's going to be really good games. There's going to be games you want back. There's going to be plays you want back, great plays. So I look at it for a young player to be able to go into a really tough spot, have some really good moments, some moments that you want back. We'll learn from those. We'll grow from those, and we'll be better from those. Okay, thank you, guys.
Junior Browns backers, the Browns official kid club presented by University Hospitals, Rainbows, Babies and Children, Association with Cardinal Credit Union. Back for season 2. Visit juniorbrownsbackers.com to join today. We'll go around the league and the end of certainly an era coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. This month's winner of the local business platform presented by Minuteman Association with Medical Mutual is Game Truck. Game Truck makes your event an exciting, stress-free success. Their amazing entertainment options, party favors, and certified game coaches deliver excitement to your doorstep. I've used this. We use this with the boys. At least
For
one or
like
two
a holiday party?
Yeah, one or two birthday parties with the boys. It's pretty great. They just pull it in, and the kids go in there. They play whatever game they want. They got several TVs in there. Yeah, I've used this product. They do a good job. Very good job.
G-Man said he's used it, like everybody.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really cool. Really cool. Kids had a ball. All right, time to go around the league. The question number one from Gibbe to us is, what was your one big takeaway from Sunday's games? And, of course, we'll do one thought on a Tuesday edition of the program. I think mine was end of an era, officially, end of an era. And it's the injury to Patrick Mahomes. Tears his ACL yesterday in a loss to the Chargers. They had put themselves in a tough spot for a while now because of what had happened earlier in the season. They haven't been good really in a while. They haven't looked themselves all season. And then to have this happen to him, I mean, this is a guy whose entire starting career in the National Football League, his last game was either the Super Bowl or worse, the AFC Championship game. And they're not going to the postseason, and now he has a major injury to rehab from that will, I'm sure, impact the start of next season for them. So that to me is the takeaway. It's the end of an era in the AFC.
It is, and I think that is that's probably the biggest thing. The other that I would point to is maybe we haven't talked about the Denver Broncos enough. That's a quality win against a very good Green Bay Packers team.
The game was I thought Green Bay was going to win it. Patrick Surtain makes a play on an interception where Jordan Love has Christian Watson. I want to say it was Watson deep. He's got him deep. Patrick Surtain is tracking him step for step. He goes over the top and grabs it, and as he falls to the ground, he holds on to it. Interception. Christian Watson goes down, hurts his shoulder on that play, and he's done. And it was like a sliding doors.
Yeah.
If you complete because I want to say Green Bay had the lead at the time of the throw, and they were going to drive. That would have taken them well into Denver territory and maybe gone up 2 scores. And then all of a sudden that happens, and then Denver goes right back down. That was a really good game. Love threw a couple of picks, but the play by Surtain was pretty remarkable. Their defense is unbelievable, and Nick's made some great throws. But that goes to my earlier point about the end of an era. And so in the AFC, there's one sheriff that's going to be standing, and it's going to be Josh Allen, because Burrow and Cincinnati have long been done. Lamar Jackson, now they did beat Cincinnati 24-0, but they're hanging on by a thread.
Yep.
And now Mahomes is out. And so if not now, when for Josh Allen?
So you're right about that, and I think there is a Houston right now looks like gangbusters. They're starting to score in addition to playing lights out defense. You've got Denver.
Well, they got healthy. Well. Like Nico's healthy, and now CJ's spinning it. Like they got a little bit of run game with Marks, and they're like it takes a lot. To make these things work. You know,
totally. And then the other thing was, big storyline yesterday was if it were not for. And it's kind of sad that it happened because, honestly, it would probably have been – Mahomes would have been first. This would have been the second thing that we talked about. But if it were not for a pretty bad penalty that allowed for a 56-yard walk-off field goal, Phillip Rivers would have come off the street, not having played in the NFL in years, thrown a touchdown, and led the Colts to a win in Seattle over a very good Seattle team.
He looked exactly as you would expect a man in his mid-40s who has a grandchild and is coaching high school football, but has immense talent and is obviously mentally as sharp as a tack.
Yep.
And knows exactly where the ball needed to go all of the time. It reminded me, I watched quite a bit of this.
It's crazy.
It reminded me a lot of that run that Manning had in Denver when he didn't have the whip.
Yep.
And he had to so anticipate. Remember that?
Yeah.
He had to throw it they do 2 steps into a route, and he would put it out there, and then they would run the rest of the route and run under it. It was a little bit like that, to where he just obviously couldn't drive the ball anymore. Like he's just not in football shape anymore, and he just couldn't. But he knew the answers to the test. He had a crazy one where he's trying to avoid the rush and he falls down. And he gets back up.
But he played in an NFL game.
He played in an NFL game. He played well enough for them to win.
Yes, he set him up on a game-winning field goal.
And they really should have. He was so excited when they hit the field goal, and it was like, my God, did that just happen? Like, Steichen's going crazy. Like, everything's happening. And then, Seattle's able to
two passes to Shaheed, and then he hit the walk-off from 56.
Yeah.
By the way, the idea that in a game you'd have a back-to-back 60 and a 56, like it's nothing, that's – kicking has fundamentally changed so much.
Yeah, it is. It's there is no such thing as I don't even know what the distance would be on one that's not. I mean, there was one in the
Aubrey missed 52 last night, and it was they were
how dare you miss?
That was the storyline.
It was like
he missed two of them.
Yeah. Now there was one that benefited me greatly.
Yes, Carolina.
So
you don't say.
Yeah.
That's a horrible loss for them.
Oh, dude! Did you see how it happened?
Horrible.
So they go to they're ahead. Okay.
Yeah,
they're ahead.
They're up
going to win the
17-10.
game. Well, yeah, and so they and then they have the ball to go win it.
17-17. Yeah.
17 to go win it. And Shuck makes a couple of plays. Shuck is sliding, and Lathan Ransom, the former Buckeye, hits him in the head on the slide. It takes 15 more yards onto it.
It was a late slide, though.
It was a late slide, but it was helmet to helmet a little bit, and it was 15 more yards, and then it was Gimme City, and so that's going to come. That division is going. They play each other twice.
Yep.
In the last 3 weeks, they play this weekend, and then I don't know who they play in between, and then they close the season. It's going to come down to that last game.
Yep.
If the winner, that's going to win the division.
Somehow the Saints in the last 2 weeks have beat the Panthers and the Buccaneers.
Right. I mean, how does that make any sense? By the way, the Panthers just beat the Rams, and then they lose to the Saints.
Yeah.
It's just it's really crazy. That's another one, and we're doing on more than one thing that's we're about 1,000.
That's right.
There was a lot going on in the league, but like the Detroit Lions went to Los Angeles to win the game. They had a hell of a first half of football.
Yeah.
But the Rams just keep coming. They keep coming.
Even
and they
when
can
Adams
run it.
went down.
They can spin it. Yeah. Stafford's great.
Devontae's not going to be ready for Thursday, though. There's no way.
Probably not, and that'll be for the 1 seed.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they need him. Like, I don't know. Can Seattle put points on the board?
They are pretty one-dimensional with JSN. Like, if JSN ended up in the fourth quarter, made some big plays that put him in position. But, like, no, I still think that the Rams are the better team, and I think they'll win. Even
Niners
if they
are
don't.
pretty darn good.
Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. They're very
If the
good.
Niners were
Not till
healthy on
Phillip Rivers
defense,
comes to town next week.
Yeah, that's
if the
Monday
Niners
night, right?
if the Niners were healthy on defense,
What are they, 9-4?
10.
10-4.
So they're 10-4, and the other two are 11-3.
Yeah.
Good grief. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. The Rivers thing was nuts. It was crazy to watch.
It was nuts. I mean, I wanted to watch it. I was fascinated.
Crazy to watch. Somebody doing that. Speaking of this, in the Packers game, Micah Parsons, he's done for the year for the ACL there. So that was a massive loss for Green Bay, and a massive loss for Green Bay with the injury to do that. So it's like as soon as the football gods give it, they take it away in the National Football League this year. It's been a very, very strange year.
Yep.
Second hour of the program, highlighted, of course, by the Joe Thomas half hour of the program. We will get to that. We'll get your great clips, great call of the game as well, and your Monday Night Football score. Second hour of the program coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Car, truck, or motorcycle accident cause you injury, call the injury lawyers at 1-800-ELK Ohio for a free case review. Elk & Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time for your great clips. It's going to be great call of the game. Here is Shador's big first completion with Isaiah Bond.
3rd and 10, Browns on their own 25-yard line. Larvidan and Bond to Shador. Sanders left. Travion Williams in the backfield. Sanders shotgun. Bear showing pressure up the middle. Pumps the leg. Gets the snap. Shador to throw. He's going deep. He wants Bond, and he's got it! And he's tackled at the 35 of the Bears. They brought the pressure. They picked it up, and Shador hit Isaiah Bond for a gain of 47.
Are you kidding me? You talk about dropping it in the bucket. He gets a free release against a too-high safety. There's a little like Tampa 2 kind of look to it. He gets past that linebacker that's running down the seam with him. He gets in front of Bayard, and Bayard's having a heck of a season. That was a perfect ball. The cold, the wind not affecting that. Bond, the big play.
It's one of those things, Shador. I like how he dropped it in a bucket. Like he throws a beautiful ball.
He did and
Yeah,
took a hit.
great
I mean,
throw.
both of those ones to Isaiah Bond were excellent throws, and he took a real hit and delivered it. Yeah, nice high arcing, and it literally is coming straight down where only Bond can get it. Beautiful.
Yeah,
like shades of Jeff Blake to Carl Pickens.
That's a good one. That's a nice callback.
Yeah.
Who was the other receiver?
I don't remember Carl Pickens.
I remember Carl Pickens and Blake. Who was the other receiver opposite? Because they had two good ones. It's funny. It feels like they've had like a run of like 20 years. So they always have two good receivers. They had Hushmanzada and Ocho Cinco.
Oh, yeah.
Now Higgins and Chase.
And for a while, they were like second and they had Mohamed Sanu and Marvin Jones with
Yeah.
A.J. Green. They had like three good ones.
Darnay Scott.
Darnay Scott. Is that who it was?
All right, so he was a Pro Bowler in 1995. Throws for 38, 22, and 28. So that was his most productive season. So we've got Carl Pickens has 99 for 1234 and 17 touchdowns. And the other, good job, Gibbe. You've got Darnay Scott, 52, 821, averaged 16 yards a catch, 5 touchdowns. Tony McGee was the tight end at 55, 754, and 4.
He was formidable.
And their best runner, they had Harold Green and Eric Sleeping with Bieniemy.
Wow. How about that?
Was Peter Warwick still on that team?
He wasn't there yet because he wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't until
at Florida.
99.
He was at Florida State in '99. They won the national title. He was there then. So he wasn't there until 2000.
99, 1234, and 17 for Carl Pickens that year. Pro Bowler, second team All-Pro. Blake made the Pro Bowl as well.
Out of Tennessee, Pickens was.
Yeah.
He would have been the quarterback at Tennessee, I would have said, for maybe like Heath Schuler, something like
Would have been
that.
his quarterback, yeah.
Probably around that time is the way that would have all worked out. Shador throws a beautiful deep ball, and that connection with Isaiah Bond is one that could be really special.
Yeah. They were, by the way, 7-9 that year. David Shula was the head coach of the Bengals.
Jeez.
Offensive coordinator Bruce Coslett. Defensive coordinator Larry Peccatillo. Ken Anderson was the quarterback's coach.
Was he really?
Yeah. How about that?
I did not.
I don't. Yeah. Yeah. No, I suppose we wouldn't, but yeah, feels like that's something that would have come up more, but never did.
No.
Yeah.
1981 AP Offensive Player of the Year.
Was Pickens?
Was Ken Anderson.
Ken Anderson. Oh, yeah. He's the one down there that they always think should be in the Hall of Fame. Is Kenny Anderson. He's the one that they think should be in that.
Please. Let's see if there's even a case to be made here. 4-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro, 1981 MVP, led the league in completion percentage 3 times, led the league in passing yards. This is how crazy the game's changed. I mean, in 1974, he led the league with 2,600 yards passing.
Yeah.
He was the MVP in 1981, 337, 54, 29 touchdowns, 10 picks, was the MVP, first-team All-Pro. So he has 1 first-team All-Pro, 1 MVP, a second-team All-Pro, 4 Pro Bowls total. Playoff-wise, in 1981, they made it to the Super Bowl and lost to the Niners.
Yeah. Probably not there. Hall of really good.
Really good.
Yeah. Probably in the Bengals Hall of Fame. Ring of Honor. I think he's.
I think he was one of the. Was he one of the first ones that went in?
Didn't
Might
they
have been
just do like the
Munoz
inaugural one like a couple of years ago?
Yeah,
And
they
he
just
was one of,
started
like,
it.
4.
Yeah, I know Munoz was one of them, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was the other one. All right,
Boomer had to pay his own way this year.
I did not do. I did not see this, but what this is in you're right in your wheelhouse. I'm teeing you up for this. John Cena's final match Last week when you and I talked about it, you said he would have to go on some sort of Mount Rushmore if you're doing one.
Yep.
How was this executed?
Awfully.
Yeah.
I think it was awful. My good buddy, I was actually talking with my good buddy Jeff Jarrett about it after the fact because he tweeted out, which I was actually surprised. He posted a pretty, what did he say? He said, love watching movies where the superhero gets destroyed in the final scene and then dies. Even better when my favorite sports team not only gets beat up but gives up with a smile on their face. Makes me feel good about spending time, money on the night. And then he just said creative is subjective. I thought it was terrible. First of all, I'm not a Gunther fan. I respect him. He's obviously a talented professional. His style is not the style that I enjoy at all.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I thought, a very boring, plotting match. I mean, all he does is chop people, clothesline people, powerbomb people, and put them in sleeper holds. That's literally the
whole
entirety of his moveset. Did I miss any, Kev? Did I miss any? Was there another move at all in that match?
I mean, he has one of the worst splashes I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, it is a splash off top. It's atrocious.
Yeah, it's
some European
terrible.
uppercuts, maybe. I think he's so boring.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole story was, Cena did everything. He gave him, the FU off of through the announce table off of the steps. He gave him an avalanche AA. Let's say change the name for it. He did all his things, had him, locked up in his submissions. Gunther would never stop, and then he kept getting him the sleeper. He finally at the end hits him in another FU, and Gunther pops right up and puts him right in a sleeper, and then he taps out while smiling. He smiles and just he's in the sleep. There's pictures of it everywhere, and he goes and he just taps out lightly, and that was it. And the crowd hated it. I hated it. First of all, I don't think Gunther is worthy of this. This is just my opinion.
Yeah.
Again, excellent professional wrestler. The ring general. That style to me is not. It's not fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's promo. I don't. It's just not my kind of character. And you just let John Cena win. John Cena's put people over. He could have gotten plenty of rub. People wanted to see him win. People wanted to see the last time they just wanted to see him win.
Yeah.
And I understand that the tradition in the business is you go out looking at the lights. 100% get that. But sometimes you don't have to do that. And he put plenty of people over in this run. He put Dominic Mysterio over, which was great. He should have won. The best is then you have at the end everybody comes out and Triple H somehow still manages to make it all about himself. Mm-hmm. Which is ridiculous. And he got booed out of the building. And they were the crowd, Gunther didn't get the heat for beating John Cena, which is what they were going for to build him up into a monster. Now we'll see in his promo tonight if he can do that, but I won't be watching. Triple H, they were just all the heat was on him because he's, makes it known now. We pulled the curtain back. I'm the one who makes the decision of who wins and loses. They don't even try to pretend anymore.
They don't even pretend that.
It's as obnoxious.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was horribly handled.
Yeah. That seems to be the consensus, but I knew it
would be my grade.
Would be right in your wheelhouse.
Correct.
We'll get your Monday Night Football score in the Joe Thomas half hour coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. OBM, the preferred provider of copiers and document services for your Cleveland Browns, will tackle any size office at 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. We've got a Monday nighter, Gibby.
We do, gentlemen, and it's an intriguing one. The red-hot Miami Dolphins are 6-7. They've won 4 games in a row. They are in the land of the community that smells like hot dog water.
You love it.
Your boys.
Pittsburgh.
You love
Nope,
it there.
only the nachos, baby.
You do
The
love those
Pukers
nachos.
are hosting the Dolphins. The Pukers 7-6. Big win last week against the Ratbirds. The Ratbirds will be watching with great interest, I'm sure, on this one. Miami at Pittsburgh. Zagora.
The Dolphins can't win in sub 40-degree weather.
High of 20.
They can't. I mean, they just. How many?
That's
How many
balmy
games
compared
is
to
it in a row?
yesterday.
I think it's like 14 games spanning
Can't do it.
decades.
Can't do it.
So, as much as I hate to say it, and I'd be. This is one of those where I'd be like happy to get it wrong. Pukers 4, Dolphins 0.
Yeah, I kind of see it the same. I just think with those conditions, and Rodgers played a lot of games in those conditions, and so this would set up Pittsburgh being 8-6 with 2 to go. Baltimore's at 7-7. Do those two play each other?
Oh, they do. Week 18.
Oh my gosh!
That's why Baltimore will be watching this
boys.
intently tonight.
Pittsburgh has to get this. They got to. They're at Lions next week.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they've got to win this one. What does Baltimore's stretch here look like? They have Baltimore's. Oh, jeez. Baltimore hosts New England at Green Bay.
Gauntlet for both.
Gauntlet.
Holy smokes! So must win for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's got this one tonight. Then they're at Detroit. Then us.
They need that game buffer.
Yeah, this would give them the game. I mean, Baltimore's path got really hard
Yeah.
now with this. I mean, that loss to the Bengals at home a couple of weeks ago
brutal.
was brutal for them.
Brutal.
And then losing to Pittsburgh at home.
Yeah. Steelers take
Back
care
to
of their
back.
business right here. They are in a driver's seat.
All right, Joe Thomas, half hour of the program coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily. The Joe Thomas half hour of the program commences. We will talk about the game. We will talk about the weekend. But I did want to start with something that you put on social media this weekend that warmed my heart, and I want to know the genesis of it, and that is Titan Hugs. With the that's an amazing thing. If you go to the HOF's Instagram, like he basically calls his children to the hug. Where did this come from? How did it start? How did this come about?
Love a good hug.
So, it was like 5-6 years ago. I went on that show, the Titan Games with The Rock. And so I was gone for like 2 weeks filming. And my kids were a little bit younger, but I got home and Annie was kind of pumping them up about where I was and what I was doing. And at the time, Moana was a big movie. So obviously they knew who The Rock was. They thought that was pretty cool. And I got home and they were like, "We want a Titan hug, Dad. Dad, you're like a Titan now." And so it just turned into this little tradition, like the best thing a dad ever gets, like the best feeling of your life is when you get home, whether it's work or a long vacation or something, and the kids, they just run and jump in your arms and give you a huge hug because they miss you so much. And it just feels like such a feeling of gratification and that love that they express to you and how much they missed you, because they don't always say it, as kids, but that was such a special thing for us, and we've been doing it for a long time. And unfortunately, just like everything with kids, they start to age out of that a little bit as they get older. But thankfully, we're right on the edge where still Reese, my baby, my 7-year-old, she wants to do it every time I get home. The older ones, you got to coax them a little bit more. But if you're gone long enough, they want one when you get home. And Jack, he's starting to be a little man, so he doesn't want to hug Dad quite as much. So he'll sometimes do it, and sometimes I got to wrestle him like I did in that video. But it's such a special thing. It's so cool, and it just reminds me, as a dad, like those are the best moments, those little things where they just jump into your arms and you can pick them up. And it's something that just doesn't last that long, so you got to cherish it.
It's awesome.
It's beautiful.
It's just beautiful.
It's beautiful.
And you needed it, yeah.
I have like a video that I have saved. It's like if I've ever bummed out or whatever, I'll look at from when little Art Andrea was young, and we were like up on the kind of the landing, and she's like, "Daddy," and then she would run and dive into my arms, and then she'd get back up, go there, and "Daddy, I love you," and then run and dive. I'm like,
so good, man. It's awesome.
So good. And now she's going to be 18.
Right, blink. Yeah, that's the way it goes.
She's going to college.
Unfortunately, we can't blink away the rest of the season. We've got 3 more games to play.
It's like that Sandler movie. Remember that one where he had the remote and and then he realized maybe I shouldn't fast forward everything. I think we can.
Hoff, this is tough. I mean, it's brutal conditions. It's not a great effort, and it goes in the books the way that it does. You've been in the league a lot. You played a lot. You played games in unfortunately in circumstances like this. Like, what do you make of what you saw Sunday?
Well, it was very disappointing. It was not fun. It was all those things. There was no joy. For Browns fans, I think we're unfortunately in the last 20 years used to finding little wins towards the end of the season, reasons to watch, reasons to get excited. And for us this year, it's kind of been twofold, right? To finish the season, Myles Garrett on the cusp of NFL history, being able to potentially break one of the great records in our sport, and got another 1.5 this weekend. So that's been something that we can cheer for, we can get excited about. But the big one, too, is Shedeur Sanders. And can he become that franchise quarterback? Can he make enough of a statement and show enough growth that through these last games of the season, he can prove that, yes, I'm the guy and I'm worthy of being the player that you guys build around in the draft this offseason. And he was making great progress. He had that breakout game couple weeks ago that he had over 300 yards. He led the team down in their final drive to give them a chance to win, doing all the things that you want from your franchise quarterback. And it was so fun to be a part of that, right? I know we're not playing for a whole lot, but for us, that's our victory. And then in this game, to see the defense getting shredded, to see Shedeur kind of taking a step back in his progress to being that franchise quarterback, it was not fun, guys. It was a really tough one to pull any bits of good news or things that were fun to watch out of the whole game, because even some of your young players that have been playing so well and doing awesome stuff like Quinshon Judkins, they couldn't get going because there wasn't any running lanes for him in this game. So it was definitely a tough one, man.
Take us in the film room, because this is something that's started to bother me, and I noticed it. I've noticed it all season, but it was really apparent in this game against Chicago, where we have in our run plays, we'll have 1, maybe even 2 guys, and when I mean not make their block, like it's one thing you kind of get in somebody's way and it maybe isn't the best block. I'm talking completely whiffing where guys are just being able to run freely at Quinshon Judkins behind the line of scrimmage. How do we clean this up? How do we deal with it? There are a couple plays where we had a guy out there who was there to block as a tight end, and he just completely whiffs. We had another one where we got, a 340-pounder on a 250-pounder, and he completely whiffs. And if I'm Quinshon, I'm getting frustrated, and I think it's affected already his running style. He's immediately, trying to hop and pick as opposed to just getting north-south because he knows he's trying to see if there's any room anywhere, and there isn't.
Yeah, I mean, one is coaching, right? Are we coaching the fundamentals that it takes to get those guys in the positions to make those blocks? Double teams, for the most part, you're hip to hip, you're shoe to shoe, you're square, you're driving from low to high, you're moving those guys off the ball, you're keeping 4 eyes on that linebacker and on that defensive lineman or on the linebacker and the safety, depending on who the combination is. But they're obviously not getting that, right? And then it's a question of, is this something that's not being coached, or is it these players not good enough to get it done? Because it's unacceptable. You've got this star rookie running back that wants to show the world what he can do, but more than any running back in the NFL, for the most part, he's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage on almost any run, and it's changing his reads.
More than half of his carries. More than half of his carries.
He's adjusting how he's playing to accommodate the poor blocking in front of him, which is a huge problem, right? You want him building good habits when you're a young player, because those habits are hard to break. And if he's changing his path because of guys that are missing blocks consistently, if he's changing his running style and going away from the things that make him great because he's consistently worried about where the free runner is going to come from, we're holding him back from his growth into becoming a star running back in the NFL that has a chance to be a big piece of what we're trying to build in the future.
So I remember from I'll use 2014 when you were here with Kyle, and then even, throughout the Stefanski era, and I don't know if I have the right terminology, you'll tell me if I do, but let's say we're running a wide zone to the right. The tight end is at the beginning is on that side, but then he is at a split zone where he comes in, he's the one who seals off the backside.
Yeah, there's a lot of different terminology for it. There's away is how you call it, where the tight end's going away, or across, yak, Y across, kick out. There's a bunch of different terminology, but it's obviously a really popular play, especially when you're running those play actions, because a lot of times tight end's coming back, then he bluffs like a Y bluff, where you think he's coming back, all of a sudden he fakes, boom, now he's open in the flat, quarterback pulls it. You can either dump it off to him for some easy yards, or then a lot of times there's a shot that's behind it, whether it's a deep dig coming from the other side or one of those post corners, different things that open things up. But anyway, sorry, go ahead. I think that was the beginning of the question. My fault.
We have our block rate on that is 0. He's never blocking that backside end, and Quinshon's getting creamed. Even sometimes when he's got room to run to the right, he's being able to run it right down the line on him, and it's just so frustrating because even where you maybe have the guys on the front side of the play actually getting their blocks, which unfortunately has been rare, and we know our O-line's been decimated, but then you have one where it gets just run down from the backside, or he gets hit in the backfield because he's going this way, and the guy just comes and gets him. You're like, you're a big guy. They're just getting their way.
Yeah, I mean, that block is one of the most important blocks when you're running the outside zone, wide zone, Stefanski, Shanahan, those schemes, because that's the player that you're trying to put in conflict a lot of times, right? When you have those across blocks, or you're trying to hold him with the quarterback boot, that's where the seam is, where the running back is trying to get back to with his cut. And you have to be able to control that guy with either a boot, you have to control him with that tight end or that H-back coming across and blocking him, or you have to be able to control him when you're pulling that ball out and you're breaking contain with your quarterback, who's now getting outside, and he's either sealing that defensive end, the tight end is, and we're trying to get around him and maybe pulling up for some of those shots that go back across the field. And then maybe sometimes you pull a guard out there for extra protection, or you're leaving him free and you're just trying to get outside of him and allow the quarterback to stay on the move. But that guy being in conflict is so important. If you remember back, man, it would have been 2012 Z. I'm not sure if you were here at that point yet or not, but we played Kyle Shanahan when he was coaching the Washington Redskins at the time. And Kirk Cousins
had to start. Yeah, I was not with the Browns, but I know this game.
They ran outside zone and then just the boot where you pull it and you leave the defensive end unblocked in all of those. Probably 50 times. They just kept going back and back and back to it, because we had a stubborn defensive coordinator at the time, so we just stayed in our defense. And that backside defensive end was in a blender all day long, because as soon as he would run hard down the line of scrimmage to try to take away that gap that he has to cover, boop, you pull it, right? As soon as he wasn't running super hard down the line of scrimmage, there's a little bit of a gap. And if you get the defense running with the outside zone blocking schemes, you get that running back running hard like he's trying to run around the defense to the front side. That cutback is where you see those big, huge home run hits, because it only takes half a yard or a yard and a little bit of a pause from that defensive end, because now he's trying to make an arm tackle. And if he can't make that, and there's just a little bit of space and the running back can run through it, there's like nobody left, especially if those safeties are not crashing down hard because they're worried about that play action. So that's kind of the core of this system, is being able to control that backside defensive end without always having to block him.
Yeah, and we are not doing that.
No.
Not
And
doing
Hoff, Z and I were talking about this earlier in the show, and I wanted to throw this at you. We got 3 games left. Like, is this just who we are in special teams? It's just who we are on the offensive line. It's just who we are in the run game.
Yes.
Like, is there any reason to believe that any of this can possibly get fixed and with what remains? Or do you just have to try to have some sort of success despite it? And if that is the case, how do you define success here?
Yeah, it gets more difficult because there's nobody they can bring in to replace the people that are not getting the job done. You're not going to completely change your system. Yeah, you can add wrinkles and you can add little new nuances and new plays with each game plan, but there's really no answers to be able to do anything differently. This is the coaches you have. This is the scheme you have. These are the players you have right now. You try to make the most of it. You try to find those little victories, but there's not a whole lot that you can change right now to make it vastly different than what we're seeing, other than better execution. But at this point in the season, how do you expect better execution when, by and large, all the formula, all the groceries that are going into your delicious meal are not delicious, beautiful farm-to-table products? So it becomes very difficult. And like you said, like, where are your little victories? What are the things you're looking for? And, you hark back to, all right, how do we give Shedeur Sanders the best opportunity to show us what he has? It didn't happen last weekend, clearly. The challenge is you don't have an offensive line that is all of your starters from the beginning of the year. Actually, you only have one, which is Joel. And so you're working with a patchwork offensive line that is in front of Shedeur. How do you find plays and how do you find ways to get him blocked up to be able to allow him to throw the football down the field? That is a big challenge moving forward.
I mean, here's the thing. We ran 14 designed runs. So eliminating the 2 Shedeur scrambles. 14 designed runs. Our longest run of the day was 4 yards.
I heard you guys say this on the broadcast yesterday, and when you brought that stat up,
said
I thought that can't be right. You said it on the broadcast. I thought that can't be right.
No,
the
it was right.
Designed run was 4 yards?
Yeah. When he had a 3-yard run, it was like noteworthy when Quinjon did. I'm like, wow, that's his second biggest run of the day.
Jeez.
I mean, you have that. You have Shedeur under pressure 50%. Last week it was over 60%. And then you take, the 2 biggest plays on offense were the 47-yarder and the 42-yarder to Isaiah Bond, who, again, I love this kid. He consistently gets behind NFL defenses. But both of those, he was getting hit in the gut as he threw those balls. I mean, there's nothing easy going on now for us on offense. Nothing easy. And then we make it worse by getting penalties on first down. And now all of a sudden you're at 1st and 15, and we're not a great behind-the-sticks team. Now Shedeur's able to make plays, and we've seen that. But, you got a perfectly thrown ball to Jerry Jeudy that goes off of his chest and becomes an interception. It's just this is tough, man. It's just not easy.
And I think the next thing, Hoff, and and again, this is going to be for the next month. This is what this is going to be because Kevin said it. He's the starter the rest of the way. How do you evaluate Shedeur Sanders amidst this?
It's really difficult. I think the coaching that goes on individually to Shedeur is really important. And hopefully there's enough trust that's been built between him, quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, head coach, the people that are the communicators to him about what they want to see from him, where they need to communicate very clearly, like, we want you to not worry about everything that's happening around you. Very difficult. We want you to make the reads that we're coaching to throw the ball to the spot that we're telling you to do. And if those guys on the other side don't do their job, that's on them. Yes, we want them to do that, but we need to be able to evaluate you. How well can you do the things that we're asking you to do? Not necessarily the result. Was it a catch? Was it an interception? But we need you to go through your progressions, to take your drops, to deliver the football on time to where it's supposed to be based on the read and the coverage that you're looking at. And you need to do that regardless of what's happening around you. It's tough enough for a veteran quarterback to do those things and not start changing what he's doing and trying to overcome the inefficiencies and the inadequate play around you. But that is the only way you're going to be able to truly, from a coaching standpoint, be able to assess the growth and the progress of Shedeur Sanders.
It's very, very difficult.
And you've got to make – and here's the other thing. Like, what's so
critical
clear
too.
is – well, it's critical that you need to understand that. And I guess if there's a quarterback that in this next draft, regardless of kind of how you feel about anybody, that you're head over heels for, you have to make that move. But the ideal situation, I said this from the beginning, is that you feel like there's enough there with Shedeur because, let's be honest, we got a lot of needs on offense. Like, we need another receiver. To me, the idea, if you get a guy, a Carnell Tate, you get the kid from Arizona State, you get like a real one, you have him, Judy, and Bond. Now I feel like we're cooking with a little bit of gas there.
Weapons.
And Fan, you got some weapons. You got speed. You've got a couple big-time guys, and I think Judy in that role might even be better suited for what he's doing there. And then our offensive line is a disaster. So you're going to need, like, it would not surprise me if our first 3 picks next year are receiver, tackle.
Yeah.
Like, we need help. Bigly, badly. So we don't have now. It's all about the quarterback. I think we all know that. That's the truth in this league. But we don't have the luxury of going again, giving up multiple picks to get a quarterback. Now we might end up there organically at the way that things are trending. We just don't have that luxury right now.
No, and so then as an organization, I mean, this is why this offseason is going to be so fascinating and critical and that's why I asked the question about Shedeur, because that's the number one thing is that allows for your plan to be different. So how do you evaluate amidst this? And that's what makes it very difficult. In terms of positives, look, not many, but the things that jump out to me obviously are Miles, who inches closer, and God, I hope he gets it this week. Just get it this week and put it away at home. Give these
Next
fans
week against
something.
the Steelers could be pretty cool. They'll follow
Either one, whatever.
One
But
two.
get Josh.
Yeah,
Josh is the MVP.
Yeah.
If you think about the Strahan one with Favre, where Favre took the dive, like this one, you would, have Miles bring down Josh. Like, that would be pretty cool if that's the way that it finally happens.
Supposedly they said yesterday on the broadcast, I don't know if this is true or not on the television broadcast, but that Caleb Williams was kind of told, just if he's coming at you, just throw it away. Like, don't let him sack you.
Oh, they didn't want it to happen?
Yeah, well, he got 1.5 anyway.
Yeah, there was something about Pittsburgh, too, that, like, Pittsburgh said hold him or whatever, somebody on that broadcast. So I'm sure there's going to be everybody try to prevent it, but, like, and I think that's the thing that's really cool. And, Hoff, you identify with that better than anybody. Excellence amidst teams that aren't good. And what he's done this year to just continue to do it, it's just the truest sign of professionalism every single week.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so hard to get sacks against a team that's winning because they're not going to take any chances. Like you said, throw it away, right? They're not going to take the sack.
Yep.
They're not going to hold on to that football longer to push the ball down the field. And with Miles looking like maybe he kind of tweaked his hip flexor or something like that during the game in bitter cold temperatures, which your muscles don't work very well already, to see him out there still hustling, chasing down the ball carrier and giving everything that he's got to his teammates and to the defense and to this team. It's just an amazing sign of his professionalism, of his focus, of his ability to block out the noise and the chaos that's happening around him and to still, without a doubt, do anything it takes to get your job done. I mean, I have a tremendous amount of respect for him, and I think it would be incredible. I'm so excited and hopeful that he can get this sack record this weekend against Buffalo and then shatter it with a few more against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It would be awesome. I also think, as we're talking about this defense, Carson Schlesinger continues to play great, 14 more tackles. He's had double digits now in 4 straight games. He's clearly hobbling out there as well and playing through it. But I know it's been 2 games, but maybe we weren't giving, and I think we gave him a lot of praise, but maybe we were not giving Malik Collins enough praise, because the biggest change really is that Malik Collins hasn't been playing, and our defensive line, we're getting gashed in the run game.
Yeah.
He was dominant in terms of his ability to collapse the pocket. His pass rush win rate was the best of anybody on the interior. At the time he got hurt, he had the most sacks of any defensive tackle. Maybe he was really having a season that was even better than we realized because it was in some ways getting overshadowed by Miles.
There's definitely a synergy amongst defensive line play, right? If you got one great one, offenses can do a lot of things from a scheme standpoint to try to take you away, but it gives them vulnerabilities elsewhere. When you've got 3 or 4 guys that can get after the quarterback and cause problems, you can't adjust your scheme to be able to handle those guys. And that's run and pass. Like when you have got a guy like Miles, I remember playing against the Indianapolis Colts, used to have Robert Mathis, Dwight Freeney, right? They didn't care about stopping the run, right? They just run up the field and try to sack your quarterback. You could kind of take advantage of those 2 guys because it creates lanes underneath to run the football.
Yep.
You got guys inside that are a little bit smaller, softer, right? It's a team on defense that's built to rush the passer. You can kind of take advantage of those guys. When you got 4 dogs, I mean, we saw it last year in the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. There's no answer for that. You can't add more blockers. Eventually, you just don't have any guys that catch the football if you got more blockers in the line of scrimmage, and it makes it really difficult to block interior guys with more than just a 1.5 block because typically, if I'm a guard or a center, I can help out on Collins in the middle, but I still got to look to my outside because I got a big problem on the outside with a guy like Myles Garrett. And so just losing one of those guys, it's not like you just subtract 1 from the grand total. Like it's really like 1.5 or 2 because now they can easily say, all right, one-on-one with the replacement, the backup, and then now we can add additional resources to the other guys that have always been a problem that are usually getting one-on-ones when you got a guy like Malik Collins in there.
Yeah, he was playing really, really well.
Yeah, he was. And look, Schweschinger's been unbelievable. Bond gets behind the defense consistently. Quinshawn, there's some things, but in a season where much more was Fannin was 14 targets yesterday. Like, he really nice.
Some are
player.
saying it was too many targets.
Some were saying too many.
Oh yeah. Did you see his media availability?
I did not.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
He was basically, there was a question that implied to him, like, are you getting the ball too much because it feels predictable and that's why interceptions are being thrown? To him.
Okay, time for the Trench Report brought to you by Big Fig, the mattress made for more, crafted in Cleveland just like our Browns. Your buddy Joel Bitonio, he just keeps going, man. He just keeps going. You guys have so much in common, Hoff. What type of pride does it give you to see your buddy still performing at this high of a level? Everything else is kind of falling apart around him on that front, but he shows up every single Sunday.
It gives me great pride to watch him out there, still doing his thing, still playing great football, bringing his hard hat every single day, doing everything that you'd expect out of the perfect offensive guard, the perfect representation of what it means to be a Cleveland Brown, to reflect the hardworking blue-collar mentality of the fan base. And it's so cool because I just think back to my own Hall of Fame speech and talking about count on me and how important that is. And as an offensive lineman, we've always been the type that we want to be there for our teammates, but we never want that attention. And I think Joel typifies that. I mean, a guy that consistently shows up. He came back for this season. We weren't sure if he was going to be going to retire or if he was going to come back. He decided to come back, and he's been nothing but a consummate pro, just like Miles. Hardly ever noticed him this season, which is exactly what you want to do as an offensive guard. As the other 4 starters around him have all been injured and have left the game, he's still out there playing great football in the most horrible conditions you could possibly imagine there in Chicago, and doing it the right way. And I'm so hopeful that he's going to put together enough statistics, enough of a resume to make that Hall of Fame, because he is absolutely a Hall of Famer in my book. And I really hope that playing this season, and who knows what happens after this, he's garnering the attention in the same way that I did, that, like, look, this is not a very good team. He's not played on a lot of great teams, but he has been exceptional in spite of the poor play and the poor teams that he's been around. And I think that should definitely bump him up in Hall of Fame voters' eyes when they think about how challenging the situations have been throughout nearly his entire career.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. All right, Hoff. Injuries are obviously not something that's very fun in this game. Two of the biggest stars in the league go down yesterday. Patrick Mahomes, Micah Parsons. Chiefs officially eliminated from the playoffs. It's the first time since 1998 that the AFC playoffs will not feature either Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, or Patrick Mahomes.
My God.
It's amazing. I mean, it's crazy.
That's a crazy one. By the way, those guys haven't played in quite some time.
Yeah.
It's, the Chiefs, to me, have been a lovable, iconic franchise dynasty, which is unique, I think. Mm-hmm. Of course, there's people out there that hate him, but Patrick is such a likable star, in my opinion. He's one of the greatest we've ever seen, but he's also an amazing teammate, always doing and saying the right things. Andy Reid, the same way. It's hard to hate them, even though they've been so great. And you always hate the teams that are always there on top. Just like we all hated the Patriots, but they were cheating.
Why do we hate
sons of
greatness
guns.
so much in this country?
And it was easy to hate those guys, but with the Chiefs, it's always been different, And to see them miss the playoffs and to see Patrick get hurt, being on a team right now and being a fan of a team that's 3-11, it's hard to say that there's a lot of love lost there for what's going on with the Kansas City Chiefs this season. But to me, the playoffs should have a team like that dynasty that everybody's gunning for, that team that, people want to knock off and they feel like that's their measuring stick. And to see them not be there this year and also to see Mahomes not finish the season, to me, it just tarnishes the playoffs a little bit.
It's the first time in his career that he's not in the worst-case AFC Championship game.
That's right.
So
that's
year
right.
9.
As a
this
starter.
is the first time that he hasn't. The worst he's ever done is the AFC Championship loser.
Yes.
It's the worst he's done. And
Worst.
the two people who beat him are Brady and Burrow.
That's it.
And that's it. That's the list.
That's the
Other
list.
than that, he's playing in the title every year. So it's an absurd start to a career. It's a changing of the guard in the AFC a little bit, too. This will be whatever they do, they're going to be on their third machination of Mahomes. And, of course, this was the same year, I think, that Brady tore his.
It was the ninth
season. They both
had won 3 Super Bowls at this point.
Yeah, a lot of similarities there. We'll see if Patrick has that second half the way that Brady ended up having. But obviously his comes much later. Brady's was early in the season, this one at the end. So this will affect the start of next year, obviously, for Kansas City as well. And look, you're just seeing crazy stuff around the league. You're seeing results that are kind of crazy. I don't know if you got a chance to see it all, Hoff, the situation down in Cincinnati with Burrow and his press conference, just the last couple of weeks with him. It looks like he is fed up in every way. I covered him since he was a ninth grader. I don't ever recall him ever talking the way he talked yesterday postgame, ever.
He wants out of there.
Yeah.
He either number one, he definitely wants out of there, but he may be like, I'm done with this, period. So yeah, there's a little twinge of that in there, which.
Well, Carson Palmer did that there. He said, fine, I'm done.
Yeah.
And he did. I mean, that I don't know. Maybe that's
I definitely think he wants out of there.
Yeah, that's pretty.
For sure.
But this has been a weird year. I mean, I don't know if Baltimore's going to get in, Hoff. Think of the AFC. No Chiefs, no Bengals, maybe no Ravens. If not now, when? Buffalo, right?
And that's the top. That's probably those are probably considered the top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL. If all things being equal, everybody's healthy.
If everybody's healthy, and Josh is left standing, it's got to be their year, Hoff.
Yeah, it's a really crazy year, I think, with the Bengals. I mean, it's just a shame what that ownership group has done to that franchise and Joe Burrow. I mean, they were set up. I mean, they were in the Super Bowl. They had all these young stars. They had done the hard thing, which is to draft these great players, including Joe Burrow at quarterback. And all you got to do is re-sign them and put the pieces in place around them. Bring those guys back. Keep them healthy. Keep them together. And right on defense. And it's like they just wanted to save money instead of trying to build championships. And everybody's fed up with it. I mean, look what the fans had to go with deal with this weekend in Cincinnati. They didn't even clear the snow off their seats because they're too cheap to do that. It's just incomprehensible.
It's a violation of league rules, by the way.
Right. They broke league rules to save a few dollars. In Green Bay, they always have snow, right? So they have this team of people that are just neighborhood guys that when they get snow, they're like, hey, we'll pay you $5 an hour. You get to hang out in Lambeau Field and clean snow off. And they get 10,000 people that show up on game day. I'm sure the Bengals could do that and hand out some free stadium chili or Skyline chili. I mean, nobody really likes that stuff anyway, but I mean, at least they would offer them something and to not even give any effort to try to do that and to cover it up by saying, well, the snow, the fans could have easily wiped it off with their hands, or the ushers were trained to be able to help them. I mean, what a joke. It's just one thing after another there.
Of the great scene at the end of Christmas Vacation, of all the no good ways to try and save a buck.
That's right.
Come on.
A great Christmas
Come on,
drop there, Z. But yeah, come on. And
they're making you, if you were a Bengals legend, they're making you pay to come to your own like enshrinements.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to come in the Bengals Ring of Honor? Cool. Buy yourself a ticket.
Yeah. Go sit in the 300 level, Boomer Esiason. I mean, it just doesn't make – it makes no sense. I can't understand it, and I don't blame Joe Burrow one bit for being just frustrated and fed up because he sees the writing on the wall. When that's the ownership and that's their mentality that they're taking towards the team, the players, their fan base, right, then it's like, how are we ever going to have success here? You might – maybe if things go just absolutely perfect, win a Super Bowl, but there's no ability to sustain success when that is your mentality and that is your approach.
If we know you got to run, NFL announcing the league headed back to Munich in 26 and 28. Can we assume correctly that means the HOF is returning to Munich in 26 and 2028?
He's the prodigal son, dude.
I will be there.
Can you get us in that? Can you use your connections to get us in that game?
I don't know if I have connections to get us in the game, but I sure hope we would be, because that would be fantastic. Seeing Browns fans take over the Marian Platz throughout Munich, drinking big 1-liter steins of beer and pretzels as big as a hubcap. I mean, talk about pure joy right there. Getting the great Z to come over and I can show you my adopted homeland and all the amazing little places that I've found that are incredible, and go up into the mountains, do some hikes. I mean, it would be a fantastic trip. All right, I'll call Roger as soon as we get off here and make sure
please.
It happens.
You're the HOF, and I feel like you are Munich's favorite American.
There's not many of us. So the list is easy. It's like when I was in high school, I was a baritone and I was the second chair, right? You should be proud of that. Well, there was only 2 of us, so it was not a lot of competition. But certainly I am, you're right, I am Munich's chosen son from the American NFL football side of things, and they better bring me back because I'm going to be there on the sidelines one way or the other.
Hoff, you're the best, buddy.
We
Great
love you,
talking
Hoff.
to you as always. Thank you as always, my friend. We'll do it again soon.
Before we get Hoff, is there any more opportunity for people to get Hoff beef if they want it?
So we still have some beef. We still have some holiday boxes on the website. Shipping, unfortunately, cannot be guaranteed to get there before Christmas, but you can always print off a nice little picture and put it in a box and
say,
give
this
it
is
to
what's
somebody
coming.
and say, hey, this is going to be here tomorrow. Or potentially,
sounds like it would work pretty good for New Year's Eve.
I was going to say, right. How
New
one
Year's
better
Eve
way to
on.
ring in
There
the
you go.
New
New Year's
Year?
Day.
HallOfFameBeef.com. We still got delicious goodies and holiday boxes available if you're looking for that perfect gift for a loved one, or maybe
For a
just a
special
little
someone.
good way to celebrate with some vino on the New Year's.
Oh, baby.
Great talking to you, Hoff, as always.
We love you.
Love you guys. Appreciate it.
All right, that was the Joe Thomas half hour of the program, and that was Cleveland Browns Daily. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.